Hey guys, welcome back to Tamiya Legends, and once again, thank you for stopping by. So this is part 2 of my Tamiya Top Force custom build. If you watched part 1, you'll know that we got it to this stage. So the next stage now is to start stripping the actual original Top Force and get the gearboxes off it. So let's have a look at that. So as you can see, the original's starting to lose some parts now. What I need to do next is clear both shock towers, take those off. I'm going to leave as much of this built up as I can because I don't want to give myself more work in the future when I'm building this back up. But I do need both front and back gearboxes because that's the next stage I want to install onto the chassis. So these are going to need to get all the gears taken out, the old ball races taken out, fresh ball races put in, and just basically put back together. But saying that, I only need the plastics first of all, I believe. But anyway, let's get cracking with it. So I've just had to change the steering around. I had the arms facing, the alloy arms facing inwards, and I just actually copied a diagram of off of Google of how someone else had fitted it. Didn't really think, but when it moved, because these were a lot closer in, it would have hit the side of the gearbox casing. So I've just stripped it down because I wasn't sure if I would be able to reverse it, as it were, but I have. So now the arms are facing out and it looks like we're going to get more steering that way. I won't really know until it's all the bits are on, but that does appear to be better. In an ideal world, you get rid of this bar and put the original has a tie rod and turnbuckle, but I would, well, for one, the thread is tiny on this, and I'd have to, if I'm going to bodge this, I'd have to drill it and tap it out myself, and I'm not going to do that. Anyway, let's get cracking on the gearboxes. Right, that's one of the messy bits over with. So I stripped the rear gearbox completely off the Top Force, and obviously, as you can imagine, it's covered in grease and grime and what have you. So I put them in hot soapy water for a while, and we've got nearly all of it off. I've also cut 2 new pieces off the J parts tree. Just make sure that's on camera. So we know that this bit sits on like that, and this bit goes around the bottom of the gearbox, and then that gets bolted to the gearbox. So that's how that's going to go. And I'm pretty sure, I know when you build a Top Force from scratch, you build the gearboxes up first, and basically it's the last thing you do. But I'm building this differently, so I'm hoping I'm not going to get caught out and not be able to fit something because it's mounted. I don't think I will be, because I can get to these arms, and that's really all I need to get to. The gearing separate I can do, because my plan was to get this and the front gearbox on, and then we can and go from there, really, just to sort of finish the chassis off. So because once we've got that piece and the front on, then that carbon piece goes there, which looks damn mighty fine, I have to say. But anyway, we're not quite there yet. So I'll mount, we've got these screws here, that's to go mount from underneath, and then we have those with these little special nuts, which we don't use, in fact, because that's for that. So it's just 2 self-tappers into that one from the original. Right, let's get that mounted. Right, rear gearbox mounted. As I say, there weren't self-tappers, there were threaded countersunk screws from the original. So that goes straight into Nick's carbon towers, and then 2 of Nick's standard screws on the chassis to keep it all the same. Just looking at that, it's a shame that that's got a bit of a scratching on it. It's a shame, that, but never mind, not to worry. I can't replace every bit, it'd just be ridiculous. So that's great. So the next step now is to do exactly the same, but to get it off here, which is a messy job again, but I need to do it and get it all cleaned up. So let's get cracking with that. Right, we have big problems with this stupid alloy steering system. They used to do an alloy steering system that the arms absolutely matched what the Top Force plastic arms look like, but I can't get hold of them anymore. I've been looking for weeks. Anyway, if you do it in its standard format, let me just flip this over. If you do it in your standard format, these are too close together. They're about 2-3 mil further in, which will give you no steering whatsoever. It just looks like a really crap design. So what I've done, and it's taken ages, I've adapted it to sort of work like the original. So it's got a tie rod and ball ends now that connect them. Now, in itself, that's quite easy to do, but the problem is you've got absolutely zero clearance in here. This, I know this is probably not coming across. No, you can't see, can you? Anyway, the steering itself is working. I'll turn it upside down, you'll probably see it better. So the steering itself is fine and it's not hitting anything. But what we need to see, and we're not going to know until it's built, is if that's giving us enough turning. It looks a fair bit, but we'll have to see. Anyway, so that's the front gearbox on now. What I'm going to do next is just fit the carbon top deck and bolt that down. And I'm going to do something a little bit different. I've got some decals I just want to try on here, just to see if it spruces it up and makes it look a little bit cooler. But I've got a horrible feeling that steering might have to be redone. Worst case scenario is we'll put the Top Force one on, the standard one. But I just wanted the alloy to match with the rest of the alloy. Anyway, let's crack on. Right, that's pretty much the chassis complete, the carbon side of it. Obviously I've got these sort of custom decals, and this is the idea I had all along, just to spruce it up. Now, I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but I think those decals look absolutely stunning against that carbon. I really do. If you get it in the right light, and they just pop. So I've added the Tamiya Racing Factory on the battery straps as well. Tamiya logo there and the TRF logo there. I've got to say, I just think it looks awesome. That's all the screws underneath now. Very, very tidy. Nick does absolutely fantastic work. The steering obviously was nothing to do with him. That was me going for this silly alloy, but anyway, we're on for now. So I think we'll get the shock towers on next and just see what that looks like. Right, that's the front tower on. I've used the brand new plastic bit from the J-Parts tree, but I've had to nick off the original the ball joints and screws. I mean, I've got them, but as I say, this is why I'm doing it this way, to make sure this is 100% correct. So obviously it's the Top Force Evo style with the brace. And then obviously next job, what I'll figure out how to do next is we'll just, oops, can't see that, we'll mount the rear one on, but that's got a little bit more. What's it got? That's got the spoiler mounts and 2 ball joints, so it's hardly anything. So we'll swap them over onto this one, and then we'll get this on the car. Right, that's the rear shock tower on. All looks very bizarre when it's because of the way I'm building it. But yeah, that's looking pretty damn good. Now I'll have to figure out what's next. Probably, I'm guessing, sticking the gearing in and changing the ball races over. Right, we've just popped the spur gear, we've just changed the bearings over. I'm just putting some grease on now. I'll just whiz this back out. Spur gear, put that little gear in there. Probably should know what it's called, but I don't. That goes there, and then that just sits in there, turns like that. I'll add a little bit more grease to this one. Not too much. Oops. Right, so that's that. So that's running free. What we'll do, we'll whiz the 3 screws on, and then that bit's finished. I've put new bearings onto the rear diff. This is the diff that I worked on this morning. I've completely stripped it and re-greased it all, and it feels much, much better. So that's obviously going to go in the back, but I'll grease that up, and then we'll put the end plate on. And that's the back end pretty much done. Right, that's the rear gearbox. All in, diffs in, everything's sealed, back bulkhead covers on. So that's finished, and as you would expect, feels super smooth. So what I'm going to do now is fit the front ball diff. I've got new bearings, put the drive cups in, and then we'll mount this plastic bulkhead cover. Now unfortunately my alloy bulkhead cover has not arrived yet, but it's no biggie because it's just on the pin of the bumper. But I want to get this built up so I can start building the arms up, because to change that over is when it arrives is a very quick job. So we'll get the diff in, as I say, and then we'll get that screwed up. Right, front diff is in and the cover's on. Oops. As I say, we'll swap that over when the new part comes, but that's no biggie. The coupling's just fallen out. So what we need to do now is probably going to sound a little bit daft actually. So this just sits in there, so I need to get some grease on that, and I'm going to fit this. Now I know I'm going to change this over, but what I want to do, I'll stick the drive shaft, the prop shaft in as well, and then we'll seal it up. I'm going to go back into this and I'll grease it, and then I can keep it all, everything out of harm's way, and then everything's sealed, because this video's coming to the end, and I don't want to go through the whole process of rushing, putting the one way, the centre one way on. I want to make sure, I'm presuming it goes on the front, it might go on the back. I've not even checked that. So anyway, at least I want to get it sealed, so let's whiz this back off and get these gears greased up. Right, that's the bulkhead, all the gearbox sealed, and the bulkhead's back on the front, and the gearing seems nice and smooth, very smooth in fact. So right guys, we'll call it a day at that. I think that's enough progress for this video, especially because the next stage is going to be like the alloy parts and the this one-way contraption, so I'll need to figure that out. So once again guys, thank you for watching, it's much appreciated, and if you are new to this channel, if you can please consider liking and subscribing to support us, that would be awesome. And as always guys, happy RCing.